This episode of the Ageless and Awesome podcast is sponsored by the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. As a woman in the modern world, our hormones are taking a battering. They're impacted by the food we eat, the toxins we're exposed to, such as when we eat out of plastic takeaway containers, or even worse, reheat food in them. Please don't do this. If you're handling FPOS receipts, filling the car with fuel, eating non-organic produce that hasn't been washed effectively, plus so much more things add to our toxic load every day. Even though our bodies are designed to effectively manage toxins, they haven't evolved as quickly as our toxic world has, unfortunately. So our body does need support. Symptoms such as stubborn weight gain, fatigue, disrupted periods, irritability, and gut health issues can be a sign that you'd benefit from a gentle detox. And that's why I developed the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. This free guide has an abundance of information to get you started on your very own DIY detox. And if you'd like to upgrade to VIP, it's only $47 for a limited time. I used to sell this program for $247. The upgrade gives you the recipes, including plenty of plant-based options, the meal planner, the shopping list template, the video workshop, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more now. Take care of your hormones. They are a critical part of your health as a woman. Hi, I'm Susie Garden, and this is the Ageless and Awesome podcast. I'm an age-defying naturopath and clinical nutritionist, and I'm here to bust myths around women's health and aging so that you can be ageless and awesome in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The Ageless and Awesome podcast is dedicated to helping women through perimenopause and menopause with great health, a positive mindset, and outrageous confidence. Hit subscribe or follow now, and let's get started. Hello, gorgeous one, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ageless and Awesome podcast. This week, I'm going to talk about our brain health in perimenopause and menopause and how we can potentially optimize that. Because did you know that during perimenopause, women experience a pretty incredible 30%, roughly 30% drop in our brain energy levels due to the decline in estrogen? That's a phenomenal change. So let's explore how we can empower our brain during perimenopause, during this transition, with a bit of a step-by-step guide for our brain health during menopause or perimenopause. But let's firstly look at what is actually happening. Because if we can understand how this transition can impact your brain, it kind of helps to understand the actions that we take to try and support this as much as we can. So what is happening? There's a few things. Firstly, we look at this part of the brain called the hypothalamus. So it's right in the center of the brain. It's like a master controller. It controls our stress response, our relaxation response, and it's also responsible for regulating our body temperature. And obviously, if you've ever had the hot flushes of perimenopause, and I most certainly have, you really notice them when you can't regulate your body temperature, how debilitating that can be. So there's that aspect. Even though now they're actually also suggesting, because remember, a lot of the research around perimenopause is really just at its early stages. And that they're now also thinking with regard to the hot flashes that there can be a close relationship with your blood sugar regulation and your hot flashes. So that's also a factor. But if we just focus on brain health for today, we've got the hypothalamus. That's a pretty important part of your brain. Then you've got the brain stem. So that's sort of towards the back, kind of comes out of the top of the spinal cord. So I'm kind of feeling it at the moment, the base of your skull where the spine sort of enters, is just above that is where your brain stem comes in. So brain stem is all about sleep and wake, consciousness, unconsciousness. That's why if you get hit on the back of the head there, you can get unconscious pretty quick. And we know that that hormonal fluctuations can impact that part of our brain stem, and causing potentially one of the causes of insomnia with the drop in progesterone and estrogen. Also, our emotional and our memory centers, the amygdala and the hippocampus. You may have heard me reference those parts of the brain before. They lay kind of underneath. So when I say underneath, so below towards the neck, the hypothalamus. And those are really sensitive to estrogen levels. And so as our estrogen declines, our mood swings can happen, our memory lapses might become noticeable, whether it's forgetting people's names, whether it's forgetting words or getting lost in a simple sentence. And it can be very, very frustrating, particularly in the workplace. But also, interestingly, and I don't want to scare people here, but, this brain energy decline has also been linked to the formation of amyloid plaques, and that's associated with Alzheimer's disease. And while those plaques are not a definitive diagnosis of Alzheimer's, they are certainly a crucial risk factor. And so, yet again, we really need to look after our brain and be proactive about looking after our brain during this transition. So let's dive a little bit more into this Alzheimer's disease link. So I think it's really important as women that we have some knowledge about this, because what we do know for a fact is that women have a higher risk of developing Alzheimer's than men. And this risk increases after menopause. And researchers do suggest that Alzheimer's may have its roots in this midlife time during this menopausal transition. So it's really essential that we know about this, because this gives us an opportunity, again, to course correct our habits so that we are really protecting our brain and, minimizing our risk to things like Alzheimer's disease. What we also know, interestingly, that if you have a medically induced menopause, like a hysterectomy, or you have your ovaries removed, that this has been associated with potential reductions in our cognitive health or impact in our cognitive health. So obviously more research is needed to understand this. That is ongoing, which is a good thing. It's really good that we're getting so much more of a spotlight on menopause and perimenopause, because our generation of women is really, I think, the first to really be putting that spotlight there. And the fact that we have these powerful tools like podcasts, like social media, means that we can really start to build awareness from reputable sources. So what kind of things can we do to help protect our brain and support our brain health during the menopausal transition? Well, clearly food that is good for our body is going to be good for our brain, and food that is bad for our body is going to be not so great for our brain. So we want to make smart dietary choices. And, this can be getting a personalized nutrition plan like I have in my GLOW protocol. This can be following the Mediterranean diet, for example. That is probably the world's most researched diet, and we know that it has fantastic benefits for health, and that might be a really good one to follow. It's not a personalized plan, obviously. It's still a general plan, but that might be what works well for you. The thing is with the Mediterranean diet, just as an aside, it is much more than the meal plan. It is a lifestyle. And it's not just about the food, it's also about the fact that it is community and that they grow their own food. They're very close to their food. They're not going to supermarkets and buying food. They're baking their bread every day. They are making their meals from scratch. There's no processed food, no high sugar drinks and things like that. So it is something to be aware of. That there has also been discussion in the research is it possible to follow the Mediterranean diet and get the same benefits if you live in America or if you live in Australia or if you live outside that Mediterranean region, because it is more than just the food. So one of the key features of the Mediterranean diet is its inclusion of phytoestrogen-rich foods, so plant sources of estrogen. These can be helpful in regulating or modulating the hormonal fluctuations. They are not like eating estrogen. I think there is a real misconception about what phytoestrogens are. They help to support estrogen modulation in the body, but they're not like eating estrogen. So flax seeds is one of the big ones. Flax seeds are really good for you. I eat flax seeds every single day. And these, the lignans, so lignans, lignans are one of the phytonutrients in flax seeds. And these compounds help regulate the hormonal fluctuations during menopause. They may, it all depends, but they may reduce the severity of symptoms like hot flushes and mood swings, maybe. What I recommend with flax seeds is that you buy them and grind them yourself. I tend to grind a few days worth and I throw them in my smoothie mainly. But you must buy them from, if you're going to buy them ground rather, you must buy them from the fridge. They go rancid really easily. If you're buying ground flaxseed or ground linseed is its other name, if you're buying that off the shelf, it's probably rancid already. So if you're buying ground, please get it from the fridge. Otherwise, buy whole flax seeds and just grind them yourself in a NutriBullet or something like that. Super easy. They taste really good. They're really good source of fiber as well. And you can mix them into yogurt. You can mix them into oats. It's really easy to eat them. And they're quite nice. Also sesame seeds. So sesame seeds also contain these lignans and other phytoestrogens. So they help with that hormonal balance as well. They also are rich in calcium and magnesium. So that can really help with your bone health. I mean, you'd have to eat a lot, I'll be honest. You'll have to eat a lot of sesame seeds to get a really good dose of calcium. But, it's possible. And particularly if you have it in the form of tahini. So tahini is ground sesame seeds. And so you can actually, that's quite palatable. Again, it's often something I put in my smoothie or I make salad dressings from it. I can use it to make a little chocolate sauce that I have if I'm having a treat. So, you can add sesame seeds themselves to salads, to stir fries, granola. Yeah, they're quite nice. Dark chocolate, yes, love being able to list dark chocolate as one of the good foods that can help with your hormones. So dark chocolate, so you're looking at least a 70% cocoa content, so not a sweet sort of milk chocolate. You're looking for that darker, bitter chocolate. And it offers a double benefit because not only does it contain the phytoestrogens, it also has antioxidants. So it protects your brain cells from oxidative stress and therefore can improve your cognitive function. I would have dark chocolate fairly regularly. I really love it. I also put cacao in my smoothie. So I'm getting that benefit every single day, really. Chickpeas is another great phytoestrogen food, and it's a Mediterranean diet staple. It's also high in things like fiber. It's good as a vegetarian source of protein, and folate is also really important. And you can use them, hummus is a really easy way to eat chickpeas, also making a chickpea curry, using them in salads. You can roast them for a little snack. I really love chickpeas and they're very easy to use. I'll just say Google, chickpea recipes and you'll find some things. They're really actually very easy to eat. Lentils are another legume that are rich in phytoestrogens. They also have a pretty good iron content as well, which is really important. And again, lentils can be great. You can make little patties. You can throw them into soups. I make a lentil bolognese, which I quite like. You can make a lentil salad. I love lentil salad, and you can put a tahini dressing on that. They cook really quickly, particularly if you use like the red lentils or tinned lentils. You don't have to soak them overnight if you're using those. And they can be really good for variety. Whole grains, obviously, always good. Whole grains, so you're looking at unrefined foods like brown rice, quinoa. That sort of stuff is very great, very good for your complex carbohydrate, your steady release of energy, good for brain energy, and definitely, you're wanting to really avoid the refined grains like your white flour, your white sugar, your white rice, all of that sort of stuff. And the good thing is these Mediterranean-inspired phytoestrogen-rich foods not only support your hormone balance, but they also contribute to the overall nutrient density of your diet. So by including them in your meals, you're getting this delicious food, these whole foods, and nourishing your brain during peri and menopause, but also getting all of those benefits of just really good, easy, healthy eating. So that's probably all I want to talk about with regard to nutrition, but also obviously always hydration alongside of that. So always use the calculation 35 mils of water per kilo of body weight every day, and that will give you a really good hydration level. So the second aspect of using hormone management for brain health is to manage your stress. When we are under stress, we release cortisol. And cortisol has a very dynamic relationship with estrogen. When our stress levels are high, our cortisol levels rise. This increase in cortisol can disrupt estrogen. And so stress management is critical for hormone management. So anything that brings you joy, that relaxes you is going to help. Like it doesn't have to be a really formal stress management program that causes you stress because it's like, oh, I've got all this stress management stuff to do. What we do know is elevated stress can make menopause symptoms worse, such as your hot flushes, mood swings, sleep disturbances. None of us want to really feel stressed, right? So things you can do to support your stress response so that you can stabilize your hormones more easily is making it a daily habit. Whatever it is that you're going to choose to do, make it a daily habit. So whether that is dedicating 5 minutes to sit and breathe deeply. And what I love about breathing is that we have to breathe, right? So you can do it while you're in the car. You can do it while you are cooking. You can do it while you're shopping. You can do it while you're working in front of the computer. It's just deep breathing into the belly. Of course, technique can be very helpful, but if you don't have the brain space for it, just breathing deeply into your belly. Ideally, if you can do it quietly and not have to do something else at the same time, that is going to get you a better result. And if you're just doing it for 5 minutes, that will be helpful. If you do it 5 minutes 2 or 3 times a day, that will be even more helpful. So please really think about this. What kind of little habits can you bring in to help manage your stress? Of course, meditation has all of the research, but you do need to get that benefit. You do really need to be looking at, I think it's around 23 minutes a day.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
How would you like to have increased energy, balanced hormones, glowing skin, and your ideal weight in just 3 months? Sounds awesome, right? Imagine having your very own hormone balancing and weight loss strategy totally personalized to you based on your body biochemistry to release excess weight, say goodbye to pesky perimenopause symptoms, and decrease inflammation in your body, which of course leads to decreased inflammaging. That's right, ladies, there are age-defying benefits as well. Oh, and of course, you have me at your fingertips for expert support so you never feel stuck or confused. I love supporting women on their weight loss journeys, and I've packaged up the award-winning Metabolic Balance Program with my signature hormone management system, giving you the Glow Protocol. This 12-week one-to-one coaching program is you and me, nailing down your health and weight loss goals, creating your personalized plan using your blood tests, a thorough health assessment, and your food preferences. And then we get started with me supporting you every step of the way. Even if you've tried everything, even if you have resistant weight and complex medical conditions, the power of personalized nutrition, mindset coaching, and my support is transformational and gets results. And I'm not even exaggerating, even if I do say myself. So if you're ready to embrace feeling like your younger self again, lose excess weight, manage health conditions, and regain your confidence, you can just DM me at Susie Garden Wellness or email me hello@susiegarden.com, and I'll pop a link in the show notes. And if you have never meditated before, 23 minutes is excruciating. So I highly recommend, if you really feel like, you know what, I keep hearing about meditation, I really need to give it a go. What I recommend is you get on one of the meditation apps I really love for beginners, Smiling Mind. It's an Australian app. It has a lot of free content in there, as well as paid content. But I just totally recommend starting with a minute. 1 minute of just sitting quietly, focusing on your breath, going in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, just feeling the breath at your nostrils, feeling the body moving as, you know, the ribs expand, feeling the weight of your body in the seat. Just do it for 1 minute. Even if you feel like doing it for longer than 1 minute, set your timer, do it for 1 minute. And then maybe the next day you'll do 2 minutes. And maybe the next day you'll do 3 minutes, and just work your way up. Don't try and sit and do 23 minutes. It is excruciating, as I mentioned. And, you know, the more frequently you can do these techniques, the better resilience to stress you will build. And then, as I mentioned before, like the deep breathing and the meditation is where a lot of the research is, but also any activity that brings you joy is going to help. Reducing stress through taking a walk in nature, spending time with your pets, reading, sewing, anything that you enjoy doing, even if it's cooking something that you really like, that's all going to help bring your stress levels down, and that's going to help with your hormone health and your brain health. The last one I think I'm going to talk about is prioritizing sleep. As you know, if you've listened to my podcast for a while, you know I have a love-hate relationship with sleep. At the moment, I'm sleeping really, really well. Hope I don't just jinx myself, but I'm employing all of my tools at the moment, and everything is working extremely well. You know, quality sleep is so important for so much of our well-being, not just our hormones, not just our stress, not just our energy. There is so much that goes on when we sleep. When we don't have good quality sleep, those processes such as building new hormones, such as repair, such as lymphatic drainage of our brain, like so many things happen while we sleep. If it's not happening, then we have issues. And that's one of the first things I like to be able to support and restore in women when I'm working with them is sleep, particularly because I have a profound empathy with that because of how long I've dealt with insomnia and how many different things I've tried to get on top of it. But as I said, I seem to be on top of it now, which is fantastic. So what are the things? Let me talk to you about the things that I do. One of the most important things, I think, starts at around, let's say, 6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock, depending on how early you eat. After I've eaten dinner, everyone in my household is fed, then the lights go down. That is critical. We're exposed to a lot of light, blue light, particularly during the day with all of our screen use. Now, I do have blue light blockers in my glasses. That helps a lot. And I do recommend, even if you don't wear glasses, to get a good set of blue light blocking glasses. That, particularly if you struggle with sleep, because we know that the blue light interferes with melatonin production. So that is one of the big things, is blue light protection, and then reducing light at night. As you know, we come from caves, and after sundown, there was no light until they discovered fire. And that's still pretty low light. And once that light goes low in your house, it's a signal to your body to start thinking about producing melatonin. So for me, once everyone is fed and the kitchen's cleaned and we've all done what we need to do, then I have floor lamps, I have bench lamps, and that is it. That is what we have in our house at night to help with that relaxation and that reduction of bright light so that we can start producing our melatonin. It's some of the big ones, I think, is our blue light exposure and our bright light exposure. Next is I use magnesium. Magnesium is really helpful for relaxing the brain and using the right form of magnesium. So magnesium glycinate is my preferred one. I will also sometimes use with clients magnesium threonate. Really just depends on what's going on with the client, but that is fantastic for relaxing muscles. The glycine component relaxes the brain as well. Also, I use a weighted blanket, and that is a game changer, let me tell you. I also use a silk pillowcase, which I find just super comfortable. If I change and I use a cotton or a linen pillowcase, it feels so harsh against my skin. So I really feel that just even having that extra level of comfort is really important for good sleep. Having a really dark room. If that's not possible, wearing a sleep mask. I have a super comfortable padded Velcro adjustable sleep mask, and that has also been a game changer for me. I put that on, sometimes I start with it on, but most of the time I'll generally wake at around 3, go to the loo, and sorry if that's TMI, and then I'll pop my sleep mask on in preparation for our early morning sunlight here in Queensland because we don't have daylight saving, so it's getting light, say around 5, I think at the moment. So having that sleep mask on is just incredible for getting to sleep. Other things that can be really lovely for sleep is having an essential oils bath. I don't have a bathtub, but if you can have a bath with some beautiful lavender oil or some magnesium salts or something like that, that can be really beautiful. Having herbal tea, I actually do have some herbal tea that promotes sleep. Sometimes I have that, sometimes I don't. Some people really benefit from doing deep breathing, meditation, or stretching before bed. I sometimes do that. Also, having done some movement during the day, I find that really helps with sleep. If I've been able to go to reformer or do some resistance training, something like that, that's really sort of used a lot of energy, I find that that's really helpful as well. The temperature of the room that you're in. And again, I live in Queensland, which is quite hot, particularly in summer, very humid. And so really having a cool room is important. So whether that's having a fan on, whether that's having windows open, whether that's having air conditioning on, you really need to get that cool room to get the good sleep. There's a lot in there. There's a lot of little things that I've just mentioned for sleep. I think that's probably about it for my checklist. There will undoubtedly be other things that you might find work well for you, and that's awesome. But yes, sleep is super important. And the difference you feel from having a good night's sleep to having been awake for most of the night is just, oh my gosh, it's just devastating when you can't sleep. It's way more than just feeling tired. So yeah, if you're really struggling with sleep, that's another thing that I really feel like you should focus on. And food choices make a massive difference as well. Here's another trick. I haven't needed to do this myself, but have a couple of kiwi fruit before bed. They contain a plant form of serotonin. Serotonin is your building block, your precursor to melatonin. And there's been research done. You have to have 2 full kiwis though. That's a lot. 2 kiwi fruits, for sleep. But yes, there's definitely what I find in the first week or two of when women start the GLOW protocol and their nutrition plan associated with that is sleep can improve out of sight. And I really feel like that is because of the reduction in inflammation in the body due to the types of foods that they're eating, because that nutrition plan is all about reducing inflammation in the body. I think that's about it. I guess a couple of other things is I did talk about nutrition before, but I realize now I didn't really fully focus on antioxidants. And I just mentioned about, the reduction in inflammation that goes on in the body when you start a nutrition plan that's personalized for you. Now, if the new personalized nutrition plan is out of your reach, embracing nutrient-rich foods, particularly foods that reduce inflammation, such as omega-3 fatty acids. So they're available in foods like fatty fish, flax seeds, walnuts. You may need to take a fish oil or a flaxseed oil capsule. Hemp oil is another plant-based option. We get a lot of omega-6 in our diet. We don't get a lot of omega-3 generally, so that can be very, very important to reduce inflammation. Antioxidants, as I mentioned before, they're basically in your really brightly colored fruits, veggies, and they really help to safeguard your brain from oxidative stress. So getting some antioxidant foods in every single day will be beneficial for you. Also, B vitamins, particularly B6, folate, and B12, they're critical for brain function. They help build your neurotransmitters. They help regulate mood and cognition. So you don't necessarily need to get that from supplements. Most people are eating enough of these things, but if you have a plant-based diet, your B12 in particular may be a little low. So you just need to make sure that you're supplementing if you are plant only, because it's very difficult to get enough B12 from food. But again, B12 and B9 or folate, they can be tested easily on blood to see if you have enough of that. I think that's probably all I want to go through today. So I guess I just wanted to draw attention today to the brain, because we talk a lot on this podcast about hormone balance and about other symptoms, but I don't think I've spent a lot of time on the brain itself and specifically the things you can do to support your brain health. And if this just all seems overwhelming and too hard, remember that one of these strategies is going to help multiple things in your body. It's, when you do stress management, for example, that's going to affect so many parts of your body. It's not just your brain. Same with the kind of foods that you eat. Same with, just about everything that I have mentioned on the podcast today is not just going to help your brain. It's going to help with many, many other things. So please don't feel like, oh my gosh, even more things I've got to do. No. This is all just about good health and being mindful about what you're doing to support yourself, and knowing and having that power and feeling empowered to take control of your health, to take control of your future health by making changes now to make sure that you are preventing brain issues, because it is way harder to manage them down the track when disease is present. One of the whole reasons I left conventional medicine to move to natural medicine was this prevention approach. I love it. It makes so much sense to me. And that is what this is all about. And this is simple. This is hydration. This is eating well, eating lots of natural kind of foods, staying away from all the processed foods, and moving your body and breathing intentionally. So I hope that has been helpful and that you've enjoyed a little bit of a different podcast today. Any questions, just let me know at Susie Garden Wellness on Instagram or hello@susiegarden.com. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll be back shortly with Q&A on Thursday. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Ageless and Awesome podcast. If you liked today's episode, please make sure you click the little plus button if you're on Apple Podcasts or the follow button if you're on Spotify so that you get each new episode delivered to you every week. If you like free stuff, then head to the show notes and click the link to receive my free Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for perimenopausal women. Or if you'd like to continue the discussion, head over to Instagram and DM me at Susie Garden Wellness. I'd love to connect with you.